What's up guys, Born4 here. Today we're going to be bringing you something a little bit different, a little bit more informative. In Company Heroes 2 lore, we're going to be looking at the vast majority of the main tech tree units from the British forces and lining them up against comparable units from the Whermacht faction and see how they hold up in combat. So we're going to be doing simulated engagements, looking at different kinds of infantry, different kinds of light armor, and certainly the medium and heavy armor, and see how they match up with each other. So let's get started. So in this clip here, you see a British infantry section, 4-man, up against a 4-man grenadier squad. And sure, the British were microing a little bit, and that messed up their accuracy there. But as you can see, the Germans are just pounding them at this no-cover, open field engagement at a medium to short range. So we replicated this little study here a couple more times, and certainly it seems that in open ground, German infantry has the advantage. So here we got another similar engagement. This time we have the Brits in yellow cover, and I'm sure you guys are aware the British infantry actually gets fire rate and damage bonuses when they're in cover. I think it depends on the type of cover they're in as far as whether it's yellow or green, green being the best. And we thought, okay, maybe with this bonus, with this British advantage, defensive bonus rather, maybe we should put the Germans in green cover and see how they fight it out. And this did go on for a little while, of course, because both get significant bonuses. The Grenadiers are in green cover, and the Brits get their defensive bonus plus the yellow cover. But we found that the Brits were not able to pull out the win, although it was a close call, actually. Which I guess if it was, say, 2 Grenadier units facing each other and one was in green cover, obviously the green cover unit would take the win. But still, I think man per man, the Grenadiers do show themselves to be a harder hitting and tougher, more accurate infantry squad. Now, for those of you thinking right now, well, that blows. Whatever happened to the British being better defensive infantry? Here in this clip right here, we're going to be showing green cover versus green cover. Again, 4-man Grenadier versus 4-man Rifleman squad. And this is going to show you exactly to what extent the defensive bonus works. It's not really a huge thing, but it is so to the extent that even though the British infantry are inferior troops to the German Grenadiers, when they are behind good enough cover, that defensive bonus is significant enough for them to actually pull out a win man to man. So this one goes on for quite some time. I'm probably going to fast forward right around now, so you don't have to sit here watching them trade and fire over the course of another minute or so. But the British do win, as you can see, and start pulling ahead a little bit. It was a close engagement, but certainly if you put British infantry behind sandbags or another form of green cover, they're going to outperform any comparable infantry unit who is also behind green cover. So British infantry behind cover, very good, but still man per man out in the field where they don't have good enough cover, they're not going to line up. And the same holds true when you give the British the LMG and you match it up against the German MG42. So here we got the Vickers LMG fighting in pretty close combat, actually close to medium range, with a Grenadier squad, both 4-man, and the British just get torn to pieces. I mean, the MG42 with the Germans behind it, clearly superior. They just destroy them. I don't think they even lose more than 1 man in this squad here, so yeah, don't do it. While we're on the subject of infantry, we're going to show you a clip here with the German Pioneers versus the Royal Engineers of the British. No cover, pretty close range because these are both SMG armed squads. And my opponent here, he's gotten a 5-man squad, so this definitely changes up the game a little bit. It's only 5. You know, the Pioneers only have 4 versus the enemy's 5 here. But the British seem to be very superior. I think if both squads only had 4 and the numbers were even in that way, I think the British still would have easily pulled out the win with those Sten gun SMGs. They only lose 1 man, and the Germans, they just get destroyed out here. Now, although the British Commando squad is not a part of the main tech tree, obviously, and mostly we are focusing in this video on the main tech tree units, we thought we would show you a little bit of combat footage with the British Commandos running up across a road with 0 cover on a yellow cover Grenadier squad armed with LMGs who had a little bit of chance to do some damage, but they just kind of ran right past them up into the shrubs, and oh my god, they tore them to pieces in like maybe 5 seconds, maybe less. and then just proceeded to absolutely rape that cargo truck. I mean, they just do so much damage per second. I believe we have a contender to the throne when it comes to close-range troops. I think they may be better than the Soviet shock troops, or your Jesus troops. Not only are the British Commandos better and superior at combat than pretty much any other infantry I've come across, at least, but we compared and contrasted the German M24 bundled grenade that the Panzer Grenadiers have against the, I think it's called the Gannon grenade or something like that the Commandos have, and it just absolutely wrecks. So, use the Commandos, use those Gannon grenades. If you choose the hammer specialty from that third tech building that the British have access to, definitely check out those heavy grenades and see what they do, because they are amazing.
We are losing Soldat.
Next in the lineup is the British 55 cal sniper units. A single sniper, of course. It's a one-shot kill against infantry targets, like any other sniper, but it also does a very respectable amount of damage against enemy light armor. It can also fire a crippling engine shot. In the clip you're watching now, the first shot the sniper fired was that system shot, and has a chance to disable the engine or some other capability, and it did so. And I think it took a total of, I want to say, 4 or 5 shots. You'll be able to watch for yourself to actually destroy that German scout car. Real quick before we leave the British infantry and move on to armor units, I want to look at the British HMG, which is the Vickers HMG, of course. We got to put up in this building here, and we just ran a squad of pioneers into them, and see how quickly it suppresses them. It's got a pretty low fire rate. It is more accurate than, say, the MG42, but it's got an extremely low fire rate. But it's a pretty solid HMG option, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? So moving on to armor units, we're going to start with the British troop carrier, or the Bren carrier. We outfitted it with the Vickers HMG weapons upgrade and put it up against the German scout car. That's the engagement you're seeing now. Obviously the scout car just tears it to pieces. Scout car's armor is barely even touched, so it's a no-go when it comes to combating enemy armor of any kind. Now we got a little bit of off-topic footage. I had my buddy plant 2 of those British M26 mines on the road, ran a German 251 half-track into them. After the first mine, it was very, very heavily damaged, basically crippled and completely obliterated after the second mine detonated. And now we have combat footage from a Austrian flak panzer facing one-on-one frontal engagement with the Centaur British tank, and the Centaur just destroys it. The Centaur's guns fire faster, larger caliber, harder hitting, has definitely a better chassis on it, much better armor than the Austrian does. In my opinion, I think the Centaur does more damage to soft targets as well. Don't quote me on it, it's just from observation, but the Centaur is a very, very solid flak tank option. I love it. It's actually probably my favorite unit in the game so far. And the Austrian just does not stand up to it at all. Here's a short clip showing what is probably my second favorite unit in the game. That's the Mark III AEC 75mm armored car that the British now have. You can choose between this or the Bofors flak cannon emplacement that the engineers build. I usually go with the Mark III AEC because I'm a more aggressive player. This thing's got a 75mm cannon on a very lightweight and maneuverable chassis, so just watch it run circles around this Stug 3 assault gun, and you know, when you're up against a tank that doesn't have a rotating turret, it'll destroy it. That 75mm will puncture almost any kind of armor. Now here we have the engagement that I was most looking forward to seeing for myself personally, and that was the Cromwell tank of the British forces up against the German Panzer IV. The Panzer IV was destroyed. The Cromwell pulled out with a victory. It was kind of close. It seems very clear to me that the Cromwell does have heavier frontal armor than the Panzer IV, which kind of surprised me. So it's a pretty solid tank unit, but definitely one-on-one against the Panzer IV. It's a tight fight, but I think the Cromwell is going to win pretty much every time. Moving right along into some heavier armor now, we have the British Firefly Sherman up against the Wehrmacht Panther. and the Panther pulls out the victory. The Panther was a little damaged already, actually, so definitely in a one-on-one, the Panther will win every time. It was a fairly close fight. I think if the Sherman had gotten maybe 2 additional hits in, 2 or 3 on that Panther, he would have destroyed it first. So it's short maybe 2 or 3 solid frontal hits from having that fire superiority against the Panther. So knowing that the Panther will outperform the Sherman Firefly, it's no surprise, of course, that the German Tiger tank will absolutely destroy it. We ran tests in which we allowed the Firefly to fire tulip rockets, which are designed mostly as an anti-tank capability, but it is kind of hit and miss, and they cost 100 munitions, so I'm a little iffy about those. One of the rockets, one of the 2, did hit the Tiger, the other one just kind of flew over it, and did some substantial damage. I would say that if you had 2 Sherman Fireflies, especially one of them hit him in the side or in the rear, I think that they could safely engage and destroy the Tiger, though one of them would almost certainly be destroyed in that engagement. Well, that's about all for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below, especially if you think there's another unit you want me to cover, or you think one of my analysis is a little off. Stay tuned for more Company Heroes 2 footage, more information on the British forces, and all things Company Heroes 2. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next episode.
Waking up, kissing the floor of a bathroom stall. This isn't any way to live, no, not at all. And every one of these kids is so original.
Making a dramatic entrance as always.
White suit, belly